Scarpins Avenue.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Sklarbro Country, the Virus Edition, a.k.a. the Pandy Pods.
A.K.A. two fellows, no salt bellows.
A.k.a. one Salmon Couchy, two fans of Fauci.
A.K.A. two Jews, no harm in Killabrews.
A.k.a. one Zide, two goats.
A.K.A. one, four legs,
Great,
one egg.
good job.
Good.
A.k.a. two jokesters making fun of hoaxers.
All right, we got it.
A couple things to let you guys know. We're on TikTok. We'll talk about that in a little bit. So follow us there at Sklar Brothers and on Instagram.
Thank you for everyone who is rating and reviewing this podcast. Keep doing that. That's how the show continues to be relevant and it grows. We thank you for that. We also want to say that our podcast, Live Dumb People Town, is sold out for August 15th with Jim Gaffigan. But we have the next date that we are doing another Live Dumb People Town. We will announce the guest and we will put tickets will go on sale probably this weekend. The day that this show drops, the episode with Jim Gaffigan drops on Saturday. The new date is September 26th. That's a Saturday, 6:30 p.m. Pacific Coast time, 9:30 Eastern time.
We'll get into that later. Let's jump into the story right now.
Okay, let's do it.
I love that museums are things that people can't just experience anymore. Now,
Right.
I'm not saying that because it's indoors in the pandemic, they can't go through it. What I mean is people can't just be happy walking around the museum, experiencing the art. They need to get a picture of themselves.
Like the art should be
front of
enough. The art, standing in front of a painting should be enough for you. You just put it in your heart, put it in your mind, put it in your soul. That's all you need.
I love that, like, no one will believe that they were there. Like, if you said now I went to the Louvre, people would be like, why are you traveling right now? But in life, before the pandemic, and when this thing is over, people are going to be like, I went to the Louvre, and other people will say, no, you didn't.
I don't think
pictures
so.
Or
I don't think so.
Pictures or it didn't happen. And by the way, if you have friends like that, screw them.
Anyone who says pictures or it didn't happen is not your friend. That's someone you can block.
Who needs photographic proof? They can't just trust that you went there and saw something with your own eyes.
You're not saying you
friends.
painted something and it's hanging in the Louvre.
No, you're saying you
I
walked
went
around
to
and
the Louvre.
saw it.
I saw it. It was beautiful. It was amazing. Tell me about it.
So you have to get a selfie or else. And by the way, your picture of you in front of the work of art will never look good. There is no lighting in the world that can capture what your eye is seeing in that moment.
Also, if you're taking something in a portrait mode or if you're taking something of yourself
gonna
with
be
that
blurred.
behind you, you're going to be the subject of the photo and then the Mona Lisa behind you is going to be kind of obscured. Your head's going to be blocking half of her face.
It never comes out the way you want it to come out. Never. But you need to get it and you need to post it on social media.
Because the whole world's not going to believe you if you didn't do that.
Social media is the hamster wheel with very little satisfaction. That's exactly what it is.
Right. You'll never feel as good as you think you will when you post it.
And yes, we're slaves to it too.
We just told you, follow us on TikTok.
We're at TikTok, at Sklar Brothers, and we're on Instagram and we're on Twitter.
You absolutely should follow us and check out what we're doing. Please do that. But you know what?
It's not that big of a deal.
It's not that big a deal and it doesn't fulfill it. Just follow us, but know that it doesn't fulfill us.
But please follow us.
Yes, please do.
This next story just tells us how far we now have to go to get that perfect photo that wasn't nearly as great as experiencing it in the moment and won't look as good when you post
like in
it
the
on
Louvre,
socials.
they've put like plastic, like a casing over
the Mona Lisa.
So now you can't just you can't just look at the actual Mona Lisa.
It sucks
because of how much. By the way, the Mona Lisa, it's okay. It's
good.
good.
It's small. It's smaller than you thought it would be.
It's like, what is it, like this?
It's like smaller than you think it is.
It's smaller than you think it is. And it's not crazy impressive, but it's the thing that everyone wants to take a picture of. Now it's behind plastic so that if you try to take a flash, it'll ruin your picture.
All right, let's get into the story.
Okay.
Police in Italy identified a 50-year-old Austrian man. Now, when I read that 50-year-old Austrian man, I was like, that guy's old.
That is way old.
And then I was like, oh my God, we're a year and a half away from being this guy.
So I hear 50-year-old Austrian man, I think guy in like either wife beater tank top or
V-neck,
stained
underwear,
white V-neck undershirt,
and like black or navy blue shorts, like the ones you're wearing,
but like maybe sweat shorts.
I say black shorts or blue shorts, and then black dress socks and dress shoes.
Yeah.
Why are all Austrian men walking around? Why do they look like
they were pulled out of their house before they were ready to go out?
They were getting dressed. Something happened and pulled them out of the house.
Someone knocked on the door unexpectedly,
and they're like, "I gotta go to this museum."
By the way, this might not be what he looks like.
They identified this man who apparently tried to take a selfie of him sprawled across a statue
It's
in a
not
museum.
a good idea. It's not a good idea to sprawl across anything at a museum.
And he broke off 3 toes of the statue trying to get the picture.
3 toes.
Leading me to ask the questions. I know we're in the time of Corona, but can't you still keep security guards on the payroll?
Like, this is the
Where are
moment.
the security guards?
Okay, so this is the moment where I want to find out how much firepower does a security guard
As soon
at a
as that
museum
guy
get?
starts to climb on that thing, you tase him.
Tase City.
You tase that guy.
Tase, you're not shooting him. you
Tase
just
the dress socks off that
tase
Austrian
him
man.
until they roll backwards.
He jumped on the statue's base according to surveillance video, so at least they had video. And the maneuver caused him to snap off 3 toes. Yeah. Who walks into a museum taking a bunch of pictures in the first place? Just enjoy the museum.
Just walk around and then don't jump on the bay. He probably
Then who's-
jumped over the stanchions.
right. And then who sees a statue and says, I got to get on that?
Let me get up on that thing.
Even the most hyper 5-year-old would understand we're probably not allowed to climb on this stuff. Like
Right.
I'll run around like an idiot and make people annoyed, but I'm not going to climb on that statue.
Yeah, I don't think you're allowed to do that. This is art that's like 300 years old.
The statue was the original plaster cast model of a statue carved by Canova, which sounds like coronavirus.
Right.
Like, don't sit on a statue made by Canova during the time of Corona. Look, I made it rhyme, dummy.
It's so easy.
Canova was a revered sculptor who lived from 1757 to 1822. So no big deal if you broke off a couple of toes. We'll just give him a call and have him come back down and, oh, wait.
Well, no, you can't
we
do that.
can't
Because he's
this
dead for 250 years.
Vittorio Sgarbi, the president of the Antonio Canova Foundation, released a statement saying this guy should be deported and the police should act with rigor and clarity, which to me is a mob term of take him out back.
Beat his ass.
Take him out back.
Beat his ass.
Take the toes that he snapped off, put it in a little bag, and start smacking his face with it.
Or toe for a toe.
Take
3 toes.
3 toe for a toe.
3 toes. And you know what? Don't take 3 toes right next to each other.
No.
Take 2 off one foot and 1 off the other. and
Really
put a
mess
space
with
in
his
between.
balance.
Yeah.
Coronavirus means that all people who want to go to this museum have to leave their contact information for contact tracing. Wow, that's interesting. And
Yeah.
that's a great, smart thing to do.
Right.
And that's how they identify the man.
So the guy didn't come forward and say, yikes, I just broke 3 toes off of this 300-year-old.
250-year-old statue. What are you, 7 years old? You're 50.
So you were going to walk
Like,
away.
own up to your mistakes.
And yeah, I'm sure there's no security cameras.
It's a museum.
at a
There won't be
museum.
any security
So
cameras.
he was going to
don't-
walk away and hope he didn't get caught until he got caught.
Yeah.
And then when he got caught, he's like, oh, I made a horrible mistake.
Well, the police contacted the woman
Who signed
signed
him
in for both of them, and she and her Austrian husband, and she immediately broke into tears and claimed it was her husband who broke the toes.
Immediately threw him under the bus.
Threw him under the Austrian bus.
That,
like nothing.
that marriage does not last another 2 years. I would say not because, Sound of Music is my most it's my touchstone reference to Austria.
Sure.
She threw him under the gazebo.
Right. She threw him under the gazebo. The husband, who was also upset, then confessed and repented for the mistake. What does that mean? He wasn't so upset that he walked over to security guard and said, "Hey, I screwed up and this thing no longer has toes. What can we do about it?"
And what does it mean to repent for it?
Like what? He was only upset because he got caught.
That's
this
it.
is the thing that pisses me off. He wasn't upset about what he did. He was upset because he got caught and he thought, you don't know, I could never be seen again.
Right.
I could be jailed under the museum and you'll never see me again.
That's right.
That can happen in Italy.
So I better start repenting.
That's right. He's upset because he got caught.
That's it.
By the way, this isn't the first time that art has been damaged by someone trying to get a selfie. That's the time we're in. People need to get that selfie. In 2018, in Mother Russia, at a gallery, one woman tried to get a selfie and knocked over and damaged a Salvador Dali painting.
That's an idiot. What an idiot.
I guess she was trying to bend the timestamp on her Instagram.
I guess.
It is Salvador
It
Dali.
is the Spanish concept of time.
Now you got to pay for that.
Yep.
Whatever it costs to fix it, I feel like these idiots, these dummies should have to pay for it. Or you do this. The museum takes the selfie that this person got while the artwork was being damaged, hangs it up and frames it next to the damaged artwork with an arrow pointing up to it and said, this is selfish person.
This is the one.
Was so selfish. They needed to get a picture that they caused this damage right here.
Here's the selfie that took off 3 toes.
Right? And this guy,
Here's his email address.
Here's his Instagram.
Here's his home address.
Go after.
Here's his phone number. Have at
If
him.
you are an art lover, go after this guy. And this guy should have to take shit for the rest of his life.
From every single person in every single language who visits that
Build a
museum.
statue of this guy taking a selfie of himself and breaking off 3 toes.
Yeah.
Right in front of that statue and be like, this guy did this, and that's why this statue isn't whole.
This is the dummy who did it.
Right?
I hope it was worth it. I hope that selfie was worth it. That's what it should say right next
I hope
to
it was worth it. Now, here's my question. Because now you're thinking about this, you're like, well, the statue doesn't have toes. And most people walk in and be like, oh, it's like the Venus de Milo.
Right.
Doesn't have arms.
Right.
Right? Doesn't have arms. So like
I
maybe
was thinking
someone...
about Intravenous de Milo.
Intravenous de Milo was the album.
from Spinal Tap. That's
where
but like it had no arms to put the. All right.
No, but my point is that like,
Yes. How do we
Maybe
know how that happened?
maybe someone was painting a selfie and they backed into it and knocked an arm off.
Possible. We won't know, and we
A
don't know.
self-portrait. That was the original selfie.
This is a self-portrait.
Self-portrait. Maybe someone was doing a selfie in front of the thing and was like, I got to get a self-portrait of me in front of the Intravenous de Milo.
Holding up the paintbrush to a mirror, backing up a little bit,
And they knock the arm off. Maybe that's what happened.
We don't know.
We don't understand what was back then. We don't
but
have any
here's-
video. There's no surveillance footage from way back then.
Thank God we have it now. But here's my thing. I think, museums have been around for a while now, and they've been preserving artwork for much longer, and they've been restoring and preserving artwork for longer. So perhaps on some level, this is like the natural elements taken off a little thing. But this is not how it should happen.
No, these people should be punished.
They should be punished. They should repent. And in my opinion, I do think there should be like stadium jail underneath the art.
I don't know. Toe for a toe. Break off 3 toes.
3 toes.
All right, there you go. First story down in the books. When we come back, we have a story about McDonald's. As if you didn't like McDonald's now.
Do you need another reason to hate
We're
McDonald's?
going to give it
We
to
got
you.
it for you.
This is Sklarbro Country, the virus edition, a.k.a. the Pandy Pods. We'll be right back.
Stay with us.
Hey guys, welcome back to the show. We want to mention again TikTok at Sklar Brothers, YouTube page, follow it, watch the
Sklarbro
videos,
Country.
Sklarbro Country, and tell people about this podcast. We're loving that it's growing. Shout out to our Josh Mickelson and the guys at LMG who put together our clips for Instagram. I think they're doing an amazing job. And I think those are really cool. They put videos at the front and the back, and they edit some things to really enhance what we're doing here. And I appreciate those guys so much. You should check it out at Sklar Brothers and follow us there. All right, shall we jump into
All right,
this?
so as if you needed another reason to hate McDonald's.
I don't. I'm all good.
I have a litany of reasons why I hate McDonald's. All right. They tried to make salads when they had no business making salads.
Yeah.
That's like Philip Morris making yoga mats.
Mhm.
All right. They had
I mean, you could do it
I guess so.
just out of old cigarette ash.
I guess so. They had a purple mascot whose name was also a description of a facial expression depicting pain, grimace. That's part of their world.
The face people make when their kids are like, "Can we go to McDonald's?" The parents are like,
That's also the face you make when you're going to the bathroom after you've had McDonald's.
Yep.
Okay.
you're not gonna be smiling.
No, they've lured children into the restaurants with low rent playgrounds and cheap toys in their boxes.
Yep.
They even almost killed documentarians.
That's right.
They tried to convince us that people hold hamburgers like this. Show them, Ran. Like this. No one ever in the history of space and time has put two hands
on a hamburger
on either side of a hamburger. And
it's so hard to lift up. You gotta. Every time I see two people hold a person holding a hamburger with 2 hands, it looks like they're holding a hamburger with 2 hands because they were told to hold a hamburger, not because they needed to pick it up with 2 hands.
like
It's like when someone in a movie holds a coffee cup and there's no coffee in it.
Yes.
And you know there's no coffee because they're just whipping it around and they're not afraid of spilling it. That's what this is. This motion right here is like the most fake motion.
no, I've been to McDonald's. I've never seen anybody ever do that.
No one has ever put 2 hands on a burger.
I mean, maybe in like an enormous burger at like a Man versus Food restaurant.
That's the only time you're going to see it.
That's what but this is not Man versus Food. This is food defeating and killing man.
That's
all right. So the only good thing they did was create a Monopoly game that the mob could infiltrate, and then they turned it into a great documentary.
Kudos, Tom Segura.
Okay. They also manipulate smells to create addiction in people.
Okay,
with their
they're
food.
bad. They're bad.
Okay.
We now have another thing against them.
To add to the list, allegedly, allegedly, they're putting surgical masks in their chicken McNuggets, which
Hold on a second.
that might be an upgrade.
That
might be an upgrade to this.
Can it help me? I don't know.
We used to get like 20 chicken McNuggets when we were younger. When we were in high school.
Those things.
When
I
we were-
ate so many chicken McNuggets. I was afraid that I would not be able to fertilize an egg.
Right.
I thought when my first child was born, I literally took a sigh of relief and said, thank God the McNuggets didn't get me.
I think it's been 20 some odd years since I've had a McNugget, since I put one in my body, 20, 25 years, maybe more.
It's been a while.
I think they're just now clearing out of my system.
Nope. I wouldn't say that. It's like chewing gum. What do they say? 7 years for chewing gum, 20 years for McNuggets.
When we were in college, there was a McDonald's on campus on South University at the University of Michigan. They had an offer. Maybe all McDonald's did. This is like 1993, I think, 92, 3, 4. They had an offer, 19-cent hamburgers.
That's too
29-cent cheeseburgers.
Too little.
I'm sorry. Was that it?
39-cent cheeseburger.
29-cent hamburgers,
39-cent
39-cent cheeseburgers.
cheeseburger,
Okay. So for $2.99, you can get 10 hamburgers. That's insane. We used to do it.
That's not right.
That's wrong.
That's awful.
Right?
Like nobody needs to eat that ever.
So
Ever.
We ate hundreds of hamburgers. Not once did we ever encounter anything in our food, let alone a surgical mask.
That's so bizarre. That's where you start to question this story.
Right? Because it suggests that the food at McDonald's is actually prepared at McDonald's.
No, we read Fast Food Nation. No, it's not.
It comes, everything's pre-frozen,
So
pre-made.
So that thing was frozen in, is what you're saying.
Right. So you can't even go back and complain to this McDonald's. You can take it to McDonald's and say, you better complain to whoever brings you this food. But nobody at McDonald's is putting... So that's like a David Blaine magic trick to put a surgical mask.
It is. Or it's like Penn and Teller. Like in this time, I would see them pulling a surgical mask out, but in fact, it's in their hand, and as they start to pull it out, it looks like they're pulling it out.
All right, so this happened in England, where I know when you go to other countries, McDonald's is much better.
Right, and if you've had English food, you know that McDonald's is maybe in a step up.
Right, of course. And I went to the only place that would make me more mad than details within the story to read the story about this, the New York Post.
That's your first mistake.
The New York Post.
That's like the fast food of newspapers.
I don't know why I did it.
You're never satisfied after you finish it.
And it made me mad from the second I started reading it. So the article starts, a UK mom was not loving it. Jesus.
God damn it.
Out of the gates, New York Post.
No.
What are you doing?
No.
Shut up. You're awful. You're
Awful.
like if the Jerky Boys became a newspaper.
Yep.
That's who you are.
I'm surprised you didn't write ba-da-ba-ba-ba, UK mom not loving it.
Okay, she was not loving it when her 6-year-old daughter, and I
You
have
have a 6-year-old.
I have a 6-year-old daughter. I have not taken her to McDonald's
Because you
yet.
love her. Because you love
Love
her.
That's the first problem.
All right.
Yeah, look, I don't know. Maybe
She needed to do it. Maybe she doesn't have the money. So we'll float her a pass.
Okay.
She was mad when her 6-year-old daughter nearly choked on.
what she's saying was a surgical mask or many surgical masks that she alleges was baked into the McNuggets. Let me stop you right there.
That's your first thing.
Nothing is baked at McDonald's.
No, it's all fried.
Everything is fried. Even the McCafe coffee.
That's fried
Even
too.
the salads.
They're all fried.
Like the McRib is the only thing that's not fried. And I think that's boiled, which you should never
do to a rib.
ribs.
I would say it's not even a rib at all.
Like if you told me that the McRib was made out of discarded surgical masks and rat meat,
I'd be like, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
And barbecue sauce?
Yeah,
Probably.
that's what it is. So the
We're
McRib is
making
just
all of our McRibs out of plastic found in the ocean.
recycled leather from the bottom of shoes.
I'd be like, that's good,
Okay.
I guess.
Is
That food?
Here's what the McRib is, basically. It's old cigar butts. And I'd be like, yes.
I think I've never seen them put it together.
Old
but
cigar butts that used to be blunts that are now, that's what a McRib is.
like if God tried to make Eve out of a McRib,
We
that
wouldn't have a civilization.
well, that'd be a bigger miracle than making her out of Adam's rib.
right.
Because the McRib is not even any, that'd be saying like he made it out of nothing.
Right. They're like gunmetal shells. And you're like, yes, I believe you.
Casings,
The casings for guns and
baby hair.
and whatever falls on the like killing room floor when they're making hot dogs at like a slaughterhouse. I'm like, okay,
They sweep up and they're about to throw it away, and they're like, wait. We got we got 30 McRibs to make, and they're like, oh, okay. Well,
yeah, let's just do that.
it's like in a dustpan, and then they're like,
hang on,
we got to get
got McRibs to make.
We got Rick. Don't throw that out. You throw it in this bucket, the McRib
That's
bucket.
the ones that's going to McDonald's.
Right.
So that's okay. The first indication that this woman might be lying, maybe that she's a fraud, is that she said it was baked in at the McDonald's.
And trust us, we don't want to side with McDonald's.
I've never wanted to.
It's
side
like
with McDonald's.
rooting for the Yankees or the Patriots or Manchester United.
So this 32-year-old mom of 3 went to McDonald's at 6 p.m.
It's her night with the kids. She's got to do something.
All right,
I get
so
it.
she takes the McDonald's, and according to the New York Post, this is a quote from the Post, her Happy Meal was anything but.
Jesus Christ.
You got to stop.
You got to stop
New York
right
Post.
now.
Just
you're
stop.
like someone who keeps drinking, and we're like, you got stop.
Keeps drinking.
I'm
and
not
going to
drive you
tell
home.
you. Let me tell you the plot of a movie that we all know.
No. I don't want to hear the story of the girl behind Blue Crush. Like, stop telling the story.
Right. Or also, don't.
Is that the girl who lost her arm for the shark?
surfing? Yeah.
Stop. You're confusing. You're confusing shark stories.
And we don't want to hear the
surfing stories.
Just shut up. So they drove home 5 minutes away, and then the daughter was suddenly, and this is another quote from the New York Post, suddenly choking on the couch.
So she ate the couch?
Great writing, New York Post.
So she ate the couch and she was choking on the couch.
She was choking on the couch.
No, she was choking on her meal while sitting on the couch. Do we have to write this for you?
It's the food, right?
You just stopped writing it. You're just focused on puns about Happy Meals and stuff.
I don't even know if this happened. I'm not trying to blame the victim. I don't know. Well, the mom went back to McDonald's and demanded to speak to a manager, which that's like saying, bring me a 15-year-old right now that I can argue to, who won't understand the gravity of this situation.
Bring me someone who was just berated by their older brother or sister before they got here.
Okay. Bring me someone who just learned how to masturbate 2 years ago. So some pimply kid, or I don't know, in England, maybe it's different. I really don't know.
Maybe you were a surgeon and now you're a manager at McDonald's, and that's a step up.
Maybe you were out in round 2 of the Great British Baking Show and now you manage at McDonald's. I don't know how it works in another country.
Maybe you're in Parliament and you're also a manager at McDonald's. We don't understand how it works.
Maybe you're in the funk band Parliament and you also work at McDonald's. I don't know how it works in other countries.
We don't know how.
But in America, you'd be talking to a 14-year-old who could give a crap about your life. All right. So the woman's claiming that management didn't do anything, which I doubt this so much. I mean, how hard is it when it's not your money? All right. If it's not your McDonald's franchise, if you're not the owner, then if someone comes back mad at you, we've worked at stores before that we didn't own.
Yeah.
What do you want?
What can we get you?
We'll supersize your next 5 meals. How about that? What do you want? You want the meal again? And usually this is my theory on this story. Okay. I think McDonald's, by the way, had to issue a statement that said they did offer a refund.
Yeah, I'm sure they did.
And they asked to see the tainted food, and I don't think this woman could produce it.
Right.
So, yeah, McDonald's wanted to investigate it. Yeah, leave the investigating to the
company that got basically swindled by the mob on their Monopoly game.
But what's crazy is that I actually could see this happening at McDonald's. I could see someone here, especially in America, with the pouring of the hot coffee on the lap.
Yep.
I could see someone, saying to McDonald's, hey, I had a surgical mask in here, planting it in there by just jamming it in there. Yep. And I could see them. But because part of what makes the story a little fishy and why McDonald's doesn't necessarily have to do anything for this woman is that this all happened at home.
On her couch.
She brought it home. The woman choked on the couch. Mm-hmm. But the girl choked on the couch. So McDonald's is going to take your word for it. You should take whatever you get from McDonald's.
That's right.
It's very clear that you could be lying to McDonald's.
And of course, the New York Post didn't finish reporting the story.
To me, that's the thing about the whole story is that I don't know how it was resolved because the New York Post didn't say it's ongoing. They just end the article. They're like, well, we got our 3 McDonald's puns in here, and now
we're done.
New York Post, finish the article.
So let us know what
happened to these people.
Did she come back the next week and order the same food for her kid? Probably.
I think, Randy, honestly, I think she planted the mask.
Yeah.
I think she went back in there trying to get some free stuff. I think they probably said, yeah, your next meal's free. She came back and probably ordered the exact same thing. And she was happy. That was it.
Maybe.
That's it.
I don't know.
And to me, the worst part of this story is the fact that the New York Post is still a newspaper.
Ugh.
And they still get to put things out there. But I'm not loving that.
There you go. That's a show.
There you go.
Guys, that is a show. That is how we do. Listen, we're kicking off this week already. Mm-hmm. Wednesday will be on Jim Rome's show.
Well, yeah, listen to us tomorrow.
Will be on Jim Rome's show, so check that out. 9 a.m. till 12 on the West Coast, CBS Sportsnet on TV, 12 to 3 on the East Coast. Or we have great guests too. Garay Ness, the batting stance guy, Rex Chapman, John Jansen. It's going to be a really fun show.
Especially with all the things, the shifting landscape. It's going to be great.
It's great. So check that out. Stay connected, stay protected, don't get infected. Wear a mask. This is not a hoax.
But we got the jokes.
See you guys tomorrow.
La-ti-da, la-ti-da-ti-da-ti-da, la-ti-da-da.